Hello, hello students. Welcome to day 2, another lecture series today. Today we are going to look at writing skills. This is in two parts. Today we are going to do part 1. Now, in your first year, first semester syllabus, you have writing skills. It starts with paragraph writing, then moves on to note making, dialogue writing, and then you have uh, kind of transfer of information. In the second semester, it moves progresses a little bit further into essay writing and letter writing. Like that, the progression will be there. So for in modern days, writing skills are the most important thing in any student's life. So wherever you are, if you are a good writer, if your writing is very good, you are able to write a legible paragraph which is neatly organized, then your chances of succeeding are a bit higher than the others. Now, what is writing? How do you define it? Definition of writing: it means putting letters or symbols on any surface. In any communication, writing has a very remarkable place, and good writing skills allow you to communicate your message with clarity and ease. So, writing is a creative skill. Like all the creative skills, the more you practice, the better your skill improves. So, proficiency also comes with a lot of practice. And as I told you in the last class, if you want to improve your speaking skills, you should be able to listen. Listen to a lot of English. Then automatically your speech also improves. And to improve writing, you need to do a lot and lot of reading. Both are interconnected. The more you read, the better you will be able to write. Writing as a skill, it is one of the most important skills in communication. And developing writing skills, you can make a career out of it. Like the famous poets, you can become a novelist, you can become a writer, you can become a good historian, you can write books on history, you can write lots of short stories, novels, and the career chances are innumerable. Good writing skills allow you to communicate your message with clarity and ease to a far larger audience to understand. So, if you want to choose writing as a career, you can be a good writer. All you have to know is certain technical aspects, and the more you write, the more you practice, the better your skill becomes. Now, writing is actually a painting of the voice. Like you have any ideas, you have your inner voice, you want to express it out, so you write it. So writing is defined as painting of the voice by a very well-known philosopher and writer, Voltaire. And how many types of writing are there? Very commonly you will come across emails, letters, memos, free writing, easy writing, independent writing, narrative writing, expository writing, persuasive writing. Of all these types and many more types are there, we will not get into those details. Today we will focus on free writing, easy writing, and emails you all know how to write. But there's a particular email etiquette that you have to follow that we will do it in the later classes. Okay. So to start with, if you want to be a good writer, you must do two things above all others: read a lot and write a lot. Who said this? Stephen King said it. So if you want to be a very good writer, you should do a lot and lot of reading. We have been emphasizing this point again and again, so have the others, because that is the truth of the modern day. Now, what is free writing? Free writing is a pre-writing technique. You want to write something, there are stages. Before you decide to write what you write, a stage before that is pre-writing. This is a technique where a person writes continuously for a set period of time without regard to spelling, grammar, topic, or whatever. All those details don't bother. You just go on writing. So it produces raw, often unusable material, but this helps writers overcome blocks of apathy and self-criticism. So this is very, very important. Free writing is a technique which is of pre-writing, before writing. And If you really want to become a very good writer, what you have to do every day, set a time in your schedule. Like morning, you read newspapers, right? You do a lot of reading, loud reading for 5 minutes or like that. Like that, set a time only to sit and write. If you're going to a research, if you're preparing for competitive exams, if you're preparing for civil services, there in the main exam, writing a huge essay, relevant essay is very important. To practice, you have to start from the degree stage itself. Now itself, you have to start writing. How do you write? Morning, you read all the newspapers, right? So whatever thoughts come into your mind, set on the writing time, whatever you have set in your daily schedule, sit in a quiet place, take papers, start writing. Whatever comes into your mind, whatever your thoughts are, keep on writing. Take a short notebook, write all the points, then jot it down. Or some people, what they do is they use this stick files, stick papers, color papers, you get it in the market, right? The stick notes. You write all the points on that, you stick it onto a notice board every day. Do this as a habit. Every day, allot some time for free writing. Write freely. Whatever comes into your mind, it should flow directly into your hand and from the hand onto the paper. So transferring immediately. Benefits are: one, your handwriting will improve. Two, your speed of writing will improve. Three, often what happens is the correlation. Your mind would be thinking very fast, but your hand doesn't move that fast. What happens in the handwriting? You will think, you'll assume that you have written the complete sentence, but then you would have missed articles, you would have missed prepositions, you would have missed some nouns, you have missed some adjectives. So when you reread it, you will understand that your mind is thinking faster, but your hand is not able to keep in tune, is not able to match the pace. So free writing is to be practiced by all of you every day. Set the time aside and start writing. Now, what are the principles of good writing? There are certain principles, there are certain tips for you to develop good writing skills. First thing is purpose. Why? Why are you doing it? Like degree, why did you join? Why did you join? What is the purpose? To get a degree at the end of it, so that you can make a career, you can apply for jobs or whatever the reason. Like that, if you are writing something, if you choose writing, what is the purpose? Why are you writing? Is it for an assignment? Is it to be a good writer? Is it to develop your creative skills? You want to write poetry, you want to translate anything into English or English to your regional language. You want to translate it for a better audience, for a better projection of your culture. Why? What is the purpose? Once the purpose is identified, you use clear language. Don't use cliched language, use clear language and be very objective. Have a structure for your writing. And the kind of words you choose, the choice of words is also very important. Punctuation, grammar are must. And you have to proofread after you have written. And that develops your style. So what are the principles? Purpose should be there. Clear language should be there. Be objective. Have a structure. The choice of words defines your style. Punctuation, keep it in mind. Grammatically correct paragraph, correct ideas have to be written. And after you write it, you have to proofread it once again to check all the errors. And you will check for your own style. Sometimes when you read somebody's letter or whatever, you will understand this letter is not written by that person. My mother doesn't write like this. This must be written by my aunt. Or my father doesn't write like this. These are not his words. This is not his vocabulary. When you read something, you will understand that this is not this person's writing. It's not his ideas. So that kind of sense develops when you keep on writing, when you do a lot of reading. So these are the principles of good writing. First, coming again elaborately to each point. First of all, the purpose. Why is it that you're writing and what for? Writing process is like a building construction. On the skeleton of purpose, the building is constructed. If there is no skeleton, No foundation, what will happen to the building? No concrete structure will come, it will only collapse, right? Without a proper foundation, proper planning, proper pillars and structure, no construction will happen, right? So there are many purposes of writing, like writing good news, writing bad news. How do you write a message for inquiring something? Or are you going to give a condolence message? What is the purpose of writing? On Corona times, how your life has changed in COVID times. So what is the purpose? So you will elaborate and you narrate your experiences to share it with a publication company or to a college website, to write for your college magazine, or different purpose. So like that, there should always be a purpose which you have to identify. Now, coming to language. Use clear language. Use the words which you use in a daily conversation. Okay? So that people of your age will be, when they read it, they will understand, they can relate to it. And avoid overuse of cliches, similes, phrases, great quotations. You can quote people, you can use good quotations here and there, but don't fill up your entire writing with all quotations. It will become a compilation of quotations but nothing of your own, right? So avoid overusing cliches, similes and worn out phrases. Write short sentences so that your reader can get the basic or the theme point of your phrase. What is it that you're going to tell? What is it that you want to tell? That should come across in your writings. And be very objective. Present the information objectively. Then, whatever your conclusions are, that should arise from the information you have presented in your writing based on the facts or evidence that you have gathered, the material you have collected, rather than your own opinion that I think this should be the thing, I think this should have happened, maybe this is about. So that kind of guesswork doesn't work in a properly researched article. If you're writing a report, it should be based on facts, it should be based on evidence, it should be based on the data you have collected. So here, no imagination will work. So use clear language. The words that you use in a daily conversation. Of course, the target is, everybody is not a Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor uses wonderful vocabulary. He's the target. I mean, everybody wants to emulate, want to reach that level of Shashi Tharoor's English. But right now, you needn't copy his vocabulary directly without using it in your daily conversation. He's a target, he's a role model. You have to reach there someday, but not right away. Go step by step slowly. Fine. Now, you should have a structure to whatever you write. It should have a clear beginning, nice middle, and a conclusive end. And the choice of words you choose, that will determine your style. Your writing could be easy and based on simple words so that your reader will get the main point. It should be easily understood by people of any age, or whoever your reader is, whoever you are targeting, that whoever is this reader, this age group will read my story, or these particular people or my own friends will read this story. Whatever you think the age group or the target is, they should be able to understand the main point. And punctuations, they have a large effect in writing. In speaking, conversation, spoken English, what happens? You don't need to have any commas. You don't say I, comma, for example, comma. You don't say that, right? It is understood by the intonation, whether it is a question, whether it is an exclamation. You say, oh my God, OMG, that is an explanation. Exclamation. Is that so? Is a question. I don't think so. It's like you're negating. So in spoken English, when you do a conversation, your voice modulation, your intonation, your gestures, body language will tell you all the punctuation. But in a written form, in a writing paragraph, if you don't use commas, full stop, etc. in your writing, the reader can find it very difficult to read. The reader will not understand what is it that you're trying to say. So a writer should have the best knowledge to use these things. So coming to the point of punctuation, I can give you a few examples where to put a comma. Like in a college, a professor wrote this statement: a woman without her man is nothing. That's just statement. He said punctuation is missing. You have to put commas. Now there are boys and there are girls in the class. So what did the girls write? A woman, comma, without her, comma, man is nothing. That means woman is everything. Without her, men are nothing. Very, very feminist point of view and women empowerment. But the boys, some of the boys, they wrote, woman without her man, comma, is nothing. That means a woman without, when I'm not accompanied with a man, is nothing. Look at the total transformation of idea where you put a comma, one single comma, put at the right places will change the entire meaning or entire idea of a sentence. Like, let's eat grandma. I mean, if you don't put a comma properly, let's eat grandma means we'll all sit and eat grandmother as if she's a chicken or a piece of mutton kebab or something. But that's not the meaning here. Let's eat, comma, grandma means grandmother, come, let's all sit and eat together. So you have to understand why this punctuation is very, very important. There are many, you have to put the hyphen, where do you put commas, where should be a semicolon used. All this punctuation is very important, very vital when it comes to writing skills. And comes the other important aspect, grammar. Yeah, most of the UG students, when they come to the class, first they say, what revision classes you want? When we ask, they say grammar. Madam, we want a revision of grammar. Why? You've been studying grammar from childhood, in 10th class, intermediate, you've come to degree. Why again grammar? Because grammatically correct sentences will fetch you marks. So in writing, especially you're doing a free writing or choosing writing as your career, you cannot afford to make grammatical mistakes. In writing, grammar has a larger effect. If you write correct grammar, the readers will understand the context very easily. Imagine if you are going to buy a book, right? And that book is full of grammar mistakes, like the textbook cover and the back blurb. There are so many mistakes in grammar. Would you like to read it? I wouldn't like to read it. When I want to buy a book, that book should have correct English, at least grammatically correct, and no spelling mistakes. So in writing, you have to take care 100% again and again. You have to ensure that there are no grammatical mistakes. And writing correct grammar comes with practice. And how to write correct grammar, you will understand by reading a lot of good English books. Read novels, read papers, read stories, read short stories, read articles on the internet, read blogs of all your favorite heroes, whatever people write on the blogs. Read that. The more you read, the better subconsciously this grammar or sentence formation, it will all sit in the subconscious mind. It will be lying asleep. But when you start writing, all those sentences will come out rushing and will fall onto the paper. So automatically, without any grammatical errors, you will be able to write good paragraphs or good essays. So grammar is very well needed. To improve your grammar, no need to attend any grammar classes, but read, and read to write better. Once you have written, fine, essay is ready. What to do? You have to proofread it, check it, read it again and again as many times it is required so that you get it perfect. Why do you have to proofread? Means this will help you send out errors all the time. Once you finish writing, you read, you reread, you will check for typing mistakes, grammar errors. Then again, you check for concision. If something is very elaborate, you cut it. Make it precise, make it concise, so that all the redundancies, repetitions can be avoided. Now, in today's class, we will look at the writing skills progression in your UG General English course. Right. First semester, as I told you, you will have the basics of writing, a quick revision. It won't be of the school level or your intermediate level or high school level. It is slightly, it will give a kind of revision to what you have learned and a slightly a bit a level up. So first semester, first unit, you have paragraph writing. Second lesson, you have sequencing. Third lesson, you have descriptive writing. Fourth lesson, you have dialogue writing. That's it. This is the first semester. Then the second semester, you have note making, you have letter writing, you have formal letters, informal letters, all kinds of letter writing. Coming to degree second year, semester 3, this is where your essay writing starts. Types of essays: discursive essay, argumentative essay, persuasive essay, all types of essay writing you would be doing. Then semester 4, you will have all kinds of reviews. How do you review an event? You go to a film, you saw the film. How do you write a film review? You read a book, there's a new book in the market, you read it. How do you write a review for it? And you have an art exhibition, you also have a book exhibition. How do you review it? How is the review? You write it in a blog or you publish it. Suppose there's a new restaurant, new hotel opened in your area. How are the dishes? What is the pricing? What is their best dish? All that you have to write a review. So reviewing food, reviewing books, reviewing films, reviewing events, all these come under review writing. Then the next semester you have resume writing. You have your curriculum vitae. How do you write your CV, resume? How do you write cover letter and all kinds of reports? Feasibility report, a report of an event. How do you write reports of college happenings for your college magazine? If a minister has come to your college, the commissioner has come to your college, has promised so many things, has given some medals and awards, how do you write that report to newspaper, to put it in your college website, to post it in your college magazine? All these report writings come into in the final year. And today's class, we will start from basics and then move a notch up of the standard. Okay, what do you have in the first semester? It is paragraph writing. How to write a paragraph? Simple. What is a paragraph actually? Yes, paragraph is a collection of related sentences dealing with a single topic. Remember, an essay could have so many topics. A lesson, a story can have many topics: flashbacks, future, going into the past, telling about the character. It can move back and front in time, it can happen anywhere. But one paragraph, it is a collection of related sentences dealing with one single topic. So in a paragraph, ideas are presented in an organized and logical fashion. They are organized based on the same idea and there is a progression into it. There is a sequence. This happened, uske baad this happened, and after that this happened, then this happened, then the final conclusion. So in a paragraph, ideas are presented in an organized and logical fashion and they are all related to one single idea. And what is it that you are expected to do? A sentence is given and you are asked to expand it into a paragraph, or a quotation is given, a saying is given, you have to write a paragraph on it, or you have to expand that idea into a paragraph. How to go about it? There are 5 steps. What are these 5 steps? For any writing, either a paragraph writing, tomorrow when you have to write big essays, that essay writing, or a report writing, any writing for that matter should follow these 5 steps. Whether it is a creative writing, your personal writing, any kind of professional writing, these 5 steps are important and they are vital. What are the 5 steps? First step is pre-writing. Now don't confuse this with free writing, which is for the long term. Free writing is Whatever you read the newspapers, you quickly note down that points that interested you. That is free writing. Now, when a process is begun to write paragraph or an essay, just before the writing that, the purpose is identified, now you have to write. So what do? Pre-writing exercise has to be done. This is where you gather all information. Then you sit to write, second step. Then third step, you revise what is being written. Fourth step, you edit it. Fifth step will go for publication or submission if it's an assignment or essay, whatever it is. So some topics to think are like, you can think first day at school or at college. How was the first day? Who's your favorite actor? What's your favorite song? Who is your favorite singer? Who is your favorite lyricist? What is your dream job? Or what is your bucket list? Or a sentence like, of all animals, dogs make wonderful pets. Do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? Are you dog people? Are you cat people? Do you have birds at home, or you are not interested in birds or cats? You want to grow fish in an aquarium in the house. So they're all pets, right? Of all animals, dogs make wonderful pets is a statement. Now, based on this, you have to expand it into a paragraph. Well begun is half done. That is another statement which is where you are asked to expand it into a paragraph. So whatever the topic is, whatever you choose, follow the 5 steps. First, pre-writing. Decide on the topic. Then gather as much information as possible. Then put all the information as points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then put it in a sequence order. And then you write a paragraph. Writing is done. Then comes revision. You will look at it, edit it, check for grammar and other things, and finally write a final draft, and then it is submitted. So these are the topics. So quickly a recap for the steps for writing. Decide the topic, research, collect as much information as possible, have an outline or a plan. It's like the building skeleton. Then start writing by simple draft. Make simple notes, write it simply. First draft over, second draft, try to make it good English, add some phrases, add some idioms, add good words, good vocabulary. So write a second draft, then review it, edit it, put it in a proper format, and then you send it for publication. These are the 5 steps of writing process. Whatever you write, these steps are to be maintained. Now, pre-writing, we'll go elaborately on this. Read and understand a sentence. A sentence is given, you have to write a paragraph. Paragraph roughly has some 7 or 8 sentences, okay? The starting sentence or the main idea which conveys is the topic sentence, we call it. Understand it, read it, understand. Then you try to collect information, find your ideas, find examples, get more details. Where do you get these ideas from? They're all around you. You can draw inspiration from a routine, everyday situation, or what happened in your childhood, that memory, what happened, what was given, sent, forwarded on WhatsApp, that maybe a little video, some news, all these examples, all these are your material. They are all your details. They are all your supportive statements. Now, once that idea is there, you've collected this information, you will build on this. And whenever you build on it, remember, whatever information you choose, that should be adding or that should be supportive, that should be related or relevant to the idea of the sentence. Gather that kind of information, read, research, and then collect information, then put it in an order, plan it well, structure it well with a beginning, middle, and end. Now you have all this information on pieces, color pieces, or you have written on small slips of paper. Stick it up. Now choose. Okay, for this topic, this is relevant sentence 1. This is relevant 2. Now this is relevant 3, 4, 5. Okay, 7 sentences, 10 sentences. In this set 10 sentences, which order? Reorganize. put it in a sequence, and then piece all this puzzle together. That way you will sort through your ideas, choose which is relevant for your story and which is not. So this is a picture how you can do it. Collect all the stick notes, write your ideas on it, and then choose the ones which are relevant, and finally you will have material to write your paragraph. What should a paragraph have? It should have a topic sentence, it should have supporting ideas, and you can add more details. Then finally, a concluding sentence to wrap up the idea. Beginning, supporting material, details, and then conclude it. So here I'm going to show you a small video. It's an animation about how to write a paragraph. The steps given, whatever I just explained, the same things are given in an animation. Now I want you to listen. Listen to the English language, the way it is pronounced. Okay? So here it comes, your video.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to write a paragraph. Writing a paragraph is just like a hamburger. A hamburger? Yes, a hamburger. On the top of the bun, we have the topic sentence, which is the main idea of the paragraph that tells us what the paragraph is all about. Then we have supporting sentences. These supporting sentences give us details relating to the main idea. And then at the end we have a concluding sentence. A concluding sentence sums up the main idea of the paragraph. You see, this is so easy. Good luck, everyone.
That's a quick wrap up. That's a quick wrap up of writing a paragraph. Now the same thing I'm going to elaborate. I'll show you another video which is in a way of a song. Okay, that was for a school level. Now school children understand it better with graphics, and teens like you will understand it better with music, because music is a part of Indian culture. If anything is said it like a rhyme, if anything is given to you in the form of a song, that will sink into your mind and you will remember it forever. Now this is Mr. Heath. He has written how to write a paragraph in the form of a song. Now what I need you to do is, you have to watch the video carefully, and while watching, note down what are the points, how many points did he give you, and what are they, and what is the example that he gave you, right? So what are you going to do now? You will observe it. It is about writing a paragraph. You will tell me how many steps he gave and what is the example he gave. Watch it.
A paragraph is a group of sentences with the main idea. It starts with the topic sentence, which talks about the main idea. The other detailed sentences tell you more about the main idea. The way to end a paragraph is what else? The main idea. Now, here's a paragraph. Let's figure it out. We went on a trip to London. Topic sentence, that's the main idea. Took a tour of Buckingham Palace. Tells you more about the main idea. Piccadilly Circus and through Trafalgar Square. I'd love to go back to London to end with the main idea. To end with the main idea.
Okay, what did he say? How to write a paragraph? You choose the topic sentence 1 add more details about the topic, even more supporting statement, and then you conclude with the main idea. These are the 4 steps. So the example he gave is visit to a London. Visiting to a London is the main idea. Visit Trafalgar Square or the London Bridge, the museum, these are all the other idea. So final conclusion statement, okay, this is why I love going to London. Again, it is the main idea. This is how you have to progress, or this is how you have to put sequence your paragraph ideas. Stick to one topic throughout the paragraph, and whatever comes in between the sentences should reflect the main idea. You shouldn't waver here and there. Okay. Now, writing part. When you start writing, you have your topic ready. Now you have planned that you are going to start writing. So initially when you jump into writing, forget about the word counts, number of statements, number of grammar. I told you writing a paragraph should have roughly 6 to 7 sentences, right? So when you sit to write paragraph, don't get caught up with 6 to 7 sentences. That's all. Don't do that, but start writing. Whatever comes to your mind, you start writing. Now don't bother about grammar here. Don't bother about the number of words. Sometimes you have to write your essay in 300 words, summary in 300 words. Don't start counting. Oh my god, it exceeded. Oh my god, it fell short. This comes in the second step. Okay, first when you sit to writing, don't really bother about how many words, how many sentences, grammar. And if you're going off the track, if you're off the topic, you moved away from the topic, just don't worry, just relax. Because most of the very well-known writers, world famous writers, have written so many versions of a particular novel. If they are writing a story, there are many, many versions. If they have written a poem, there are many versions of it. And finally, the I edited and a refined version comes for publication. That is what comes as a book. So great writers have always done multiple drafts. So first write whatever comes into your mind. You write, and write. And then you start eliminating what is not important. So then you will identify and eliminate the potential distractions. To get into a habit of it, make writing a regular part of your day. Then once you have written, you chose, then comes the editing part or the revising part. Every writer, famous, world famous or not famous, a professional writer, they usually adopt this ARRR formula. ARRR, that is, A stands for adding. Did you forget to include any information that should have been added here to the story to make it strong? Did you forget any information? Did you give your readers all the information that they need to know so that they understand you? If you have forgotten, add that information. If you didn't, then get back to the notebook, keep the additional information or scenes or all those details you added. Now rearrange. Consider the reading. It should flow sequentially from one point to the other. There should be a progression. There should be a pacing, the sequence to a story. So would the plot be better served if some events occur in a different order? Think about it. Like some stories, first the climax appears. Then what happened? Then the flashback goes and then the story begins. Okay. What pattern are you going to take it? Is this how you want to do it, or you want to put the climax in the beginning and then go back as a flashback and write it? So see how do you want it? Rearrange the sequence based on what you want to give your picture, what you want to convey to the readers. Then the other 2 R's are removing and replacing. Like while making additions to your story, are you putting in a lot of additional material, additional information, or too much of information, overload? Then readers will get bored. What is this? This looks like a documentary. It doesn't sound like a story. This doesn't look like an essay. It looks like all pieces taken from here, there, and all dumped into one essay. So there shouldn't be an information overload. If you're making additions, do you think it is following a sequence? Otherwise, remove. Remove all that is not necessary. Eliminate passages that don't fit. Agreed. We are very fond of and we are very possessive about what we have written. We don't want to delete it, right? Even in a group story writing, you have each one has to write a paragraph. You don't want to remove your paragraph. You want to keep it just that way. You have written something for the college magazine and the teacher says, okay, edit it to write it instead of 10 lines, you write it 7 lines, then you don't want to actually cut what you have written because you're very possessive about it. But then keeping the purpose in mind, keeping the readers in mind, if you have to remove certain things, please remove it which do not fit. Now you have removed, then replace. Look how you can replace the removed sentences most effective way so that you can make it crisp and make it concise and make it readable. Always it is better to take a second opinion. Give it to your teachers, give it to your friends, give it to your classmates, or give it to an expert who can read it, help you to edit it, help you to suggest and see here you have written too much about it, remove that. No need to write about the writer so much. Focus on the story, focus on the summary, focus on the character evaluation, focus on the portrayal of scenarios. Don't write too many other details, remove it. So always it is better to go for a second opinion. Ask your teachers, they'll help you. Now comes the editing. Let me tell you students, editing is the most important aspect of writing. You have completely overhauled your story. The basic script is ready. This manuscript, now you have to read line by line and fine tune it. Check for repetition. If are there any repetitions, did you say the same sentence again and again? Did you use a phrase too many times? Did you use a quotation too many times? Edit it. There should be clarity in what you write. Check for grammar, check for spellings, check for punctuation. So editing is an extremely detailed process and it is best when performed by a professional. Let me tell you, these days, editors, to become an editor is a highly respected job and it is a well-paid job, be it in a newspaper editor, sub-editor, or a big publishing house which publishes books. For there, you have to be a panel of the editors, sub-editors. If you choose editing as your profession, then that is another profession which is fast catching up and we always require editors. There is no recession can touch editors. Okay, like that, if you want to choose a profession, you can become a professional editor. Why we need to edit? Because nobody wants to read a book that is full of mistakes and they will not buy a book that is full of mistakes or grammatical errors. That is why editing is very, very important. And then comes the publishing phase. Your story is ready, everything is ready, properly edited, crisp, and it is making sense. Now you may give it to a website or you may give it to a publication company. You can give it for a public performance if it is a drama or a story. So presentation trait is emphasized during this phase of writing process as the writer works to make the piece appealing and inviting to the audience. So this is where it is very, very important. Now is the time whatever you have written is going into the public, right? Then there are barriers for writing skills like too much of noise, lack of effective tools, training for writing, scope of motivational writers block. What is noise? There's a lot of disturbance when you're sitting to write. Somebody comes and disturbs you. You don't have effective tools, you don't have material, you don't have internet connection, you can't look for books, you can't research for your articles, and you don't have any training in writing. You didn't attend any of the creative writers workshop, this workshop, that workshop, nothing you have attended. And there's also no scope of motivation. If you really get that urge, okay, today I'm going to write a poem. Today I'm going to write an essay. Today I'm going to write an article and give it to Deccan Chronicle or some news publication. I'll send it to the editor. You have motivation, but then When you are sitting to write, if somebody says, why are you wasting time? Don't do it. Nobody is supportive. Your parents are not supporting. Your friends are pulling you down. Then the scope of motivation is lost. And you will won't feel like writing. And there's the other barrier or the block, which is the writer's block. What happens often is, very often, very well known writers also, they face this block. Suddenly you seem to be saturated. Your mind stops working. You are blank. No idea comes into your mind. You just can't think of what to write next. How do I write next? It is a kind of block and you don't know what to do. So how do you face it? To overcome noise barrier, choose a silent place. And being the millennium children, you are used to working among a lot of noise. You are multitasking. You have the ability to multitask. Even if we make you sit in a market with all crowd noises all around, you are busy doing your mobile work. You're busy chatting with friends. So that kind of focus. There's so much of noise going around, but then your focus is there. This is an ability you have to build on. You have to strengthen this ability. You can cut down your noise. You can look for internet. You start writing, take motivation from your friends and overcome the writer's block. This is where we kind of end your first session, writing skills part 1, where you have seen what are the various 5 steps of writing, what are the barriers, how to overcome the barriers, how to do these writing steps, pre-writing, writing, editing, revision and checking for grammar, and finally publishing. So I hope you have understood all these points, and if you have any doubts, you can reach me out. You can mail me at banglabharati@gmail.com. Okay, that is my ID, personal ID. Any other questions, you are free to post it near in the comments section of the video. And in the next class, we will look at a slightly higher level of addressing your writing skills, how to go about it. So take care, stay home, stay safe, and then wish you good luck. Keep writing just like the way you have been reading. The more you read, the better your writing skills will improve. The more you listen, that well you'll be able to speak. So wish you good luck. I hope you will start writing. Set some time aside and keep on writing as much as you can. Develop that practice. Like every day, do you read for 2 minutes or half an hour? Like that, every day set some time aside. You will sit and write for 40 minutes or 30 minutes or 10 minutes to start with, day one. Write on whatever topic, freestyle. Whatever you read in the morning newspaper, try to make notes of it. Try to write whatever it is, or try to write a report of what has happened at your home today, or in your WhatsApp group, what all happened in your family, a report of it. So keep on writing, and that will make you perfect. So wishing you good luck. I hope we'll meet in the next class to discuss more about interpersonal skills or into the text. Good luck, children. Take care and stay safe.